Hey everybody, it's Aaron with The Bridge. We're here with Peggy from Expressions of Hope. Excited to have Peggy in our little makeshift studio here at Grace Church. And I've known Peggy and Tom for probably about 5 years now, right? I think it's been about 5 years when you guys were over at Napa Life Church and that little outbuilding there. And just to watch all the work that has taken place and everything that's been accomplished through your organization and our community is awesome. So what we would like to do today, and we're glad you were able to come in, is just kind of want to let everybody know what's going on in our community and just really highlight all the work that's taken place out there. You guys are doing an amazing work. I think it's so important for people to know what you guys are doing, what your mission is, how you're accomplishing that mission. So maybe you can share a little bit about who are you, who is Expressions of Hope, what do you guys do in our community, maybe a little bit about kind of where you came from and how you got to where you are.
Well, thank you for having me this morning.
Of course.
So Expressions of Hope started very small. My husband and I have been foster parents for 29 years now, and we just saw a lot of needs when the kids would come to us. And a lot of kids just come with a garbage bag or they come with nothing. And one evening, we got a call from Child Welfare, and they asked us if we could take, there was a sister set of 3, and they asked if we could take one of the sisters. And so I went down to Child Welfare office, and I walked into the office, and there's 3 sisters huddled together on a couch about this size. And I thought, how can I just take one of those girls? And so I asked the supervisor if we could get permission to take 2. And so they gave us permission to take 2, and I'm driving home, and I thought to myself, how in the world did I leave that 3rd sister sitting there? So I turned around and went back, and I asked the social worker if we could take the 3rd sister too, and so she got permission for that. And so I quickly called my husband and said, I'm not coming home with 1, I'm coming home with 3. So we've got to stop at Walmart because they have absolutely nothing. So we stopped at Walmart, picked up, everything they would need, pajamas for that night, toothbrush, hairbrush, socks, outfit for the next day, shoes, just so many things. And I thought, I wonder if I could make this easier. And so we started in our garage, and I started putting together backpacks that were filled with all kinds of the necessities and comfort items and things that included a pillow and a blanket and a nightlight, because even the teens like the nightlight. And then the hairbrush and the toothbrush and the toothpaste and the shampoo and all those things that they need and might feel embarrassed about asking in a new home. So they have, everything is brand new in these bags. They get them as soon as they go into care, and they can take those with them. It just helps normalize their new transition into a home. So that's kind of how we started in our garage, and just slowly went off from there. And then I rented a storage unit as we were starting to grow a little bit. We saw a few more needs, and then we got a shipping container, and so we worked in that shipping container for probably 3 or 4 years, and it was cold and dark in the winter and hot and dark in the summer. And so we were then able to get a small office building right behind Walmart, and unfortunately we were there for 3 years, and the rent went up to like $6,000 a month. And so there was a church in town, Napa Valley Life Church, that had an empty space and offered us that space, which was a huge blessing. So we were able to really start expanding there. That's when I retired from nursing early so that I could really work on that full time. And it was the very first time. We had started in 2009, so this is, 2018 maybe, when we were there. And so it was the first time that I was able to hire any staff person besides myself, and we just were able to start growing. And so really our mission has kind of evolved over the years. We started out mainly serving foster and kinship families, and we've kind of expanded to, our belief is that every foster, kinship, or at-risk child in Napa is treated with respect and love, and that every caregiver or family taking care of those children is supported by somebody who understands what they're going through. So our staff is very, I don't want to say multicultural, but they've got a lot of lived experience. We have a couple of us have been foster parents for a while, so we understand what those families are going through. Staff has been through the system herself. She understands what those moms are going through. We have a couple single moms who understand what those moms are going through. So we feel like we can reach, as many as possible and really give them a sense of comfort and a sense of hope. We don't want to just be sending out bags of clothing and backpacks and furniture. We also want to give them a feeling like empowerment and that they can do this and that we are there to support them. One of the three main ways that we do that is through, like I was explaining, comfort. And those are the things like the backpacks. Those are the things like the clothing and the shoes. And our resource center has those things. It's the things like the furniture. It's getting a kid off the floor from sleeping on the floor. We get calls from social workers who walk into the home and there's absolutely nothing. The kids have been sleeping on the floor. The families, have no furniture. We work with every department of child welfare. And so it's not just foster families or kinship families, but it's also families in the area of prevention where they are working towards keeping the family together. So they will walk in and see those things happen, and they'll call us and say, hey, can you provide beds? Can you provide a couch, a table, and chairs for this family? We get calls from Napa Valley Unified School District where the teacher has noticed a child is wearing the same outfit for 5 days in a row and just wondering what's happening at home. And it's not that mom or dad is really trying to neglect the child, but maybe they don't have the money for the laundromat this week. Maybe they don't have a vehicle to get to the laundromat. Maybe they don't have the soap, the laundry soap that's needed. So then they put the request in and we can provide those things for the family. The other thing is connection. We really want our families to feel connected. And so we offer 3 larger activities throughout the family activities throughout the year. These are mainly for our foster and kinship families. And it's just a time for the kids to see that they aren't on their own and the families to see that they aren't on their own either. And we offer parent night out for kinship families so that the caregiver can drop the kids off on a Friday night, the third Friday night of every month. And we take care of the kids from 5 to 8 p.m. and the caregivers can go out to dinner or go back home, put their feet up or do whatever they want. And we have purpose to our evenings too. And so everything's planned really carefully and, with the kids in mind. We also really want to provide community. And so we have 6 support groups throughout the month. We have one for dads who are foster dads or kinship dads. We have one for moms who are foster moms, kinship moms. We have one of our staff who leads ones for moms who are in reunification in the process of getting their kids back or have gotten them back and just need that continued support. We have one for dads in reunification. We have a Spanish-speaking one. And then we have one specific for kinship families too.
That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, I thought I knew a lot about the organization, but even just learning and hearing very succinctly everything that you guys do, and I know there's probably more there, but to hear the span that you have, in the community is pretty awesome, pretty amazing. And I didn't realize you guys had been around since. I mean, is this your 16th year?
So this is our 16th year then.
Wow. And when did you? Because you guys are a nonprofit organization, right? When did you officially become a nonprofit?
We did in 2009.
Oh, okay.
But we were so small, then it was really the only thing we had were the backpacks.
Okay.
Then, as we grew, it just kept getting bigger and there were just more opportunities to serve. And we felt really like it was really important to be able to say yes to as many things as we possibly could, not in a way to promote ourselves, but just in a way that there are so many needs in our community. And if we can possibly help them, that's the way that we were looking at it. And each one of my staff are so outward-minded in that way. I just love that about them. They've been able to help create a really, I think, welcoming environment and also a non-judgmental one, too. We get a lot of requests from other agencies in town who don't have everything that we have, and so they'll reach out and ask for their families, and so we're happy to be that resource for them, too. Yeah.
So you're serving you have your direct service kind of population,
Mm-hmm.
You have services that you provide to other organizations serving similar demographic. You're working with the county, you work with the schools. So, I mean, you're providing a lot of different levels of support, and it all stemmed from your recognizing the needs when you took custody of those three
Right.
little girls
Yeah.
and wanted to make a change so nobody had to experience that, so they could feel that kind of initial kind of welcome into the home.
Yes. Yeah.
And feel comforted and supported. And wow,
Yeah.
to hear about the growth like that, just kind of going through the process is pretty amazing.
Well, there's a cool part to that story. Several years later, I had gotten a call to take an 8-year-old girl, and I went down to child welfare to pick her up. And it was just chaos in the office. There was just lots of people, and off in the corner sat this young woman. And the social worker walked out with this 8-year-old and introduced us. And she had her head hanging down low and just looked really scared. And so the social worker had gone back to the office to get some more papers, and this young woman comes from the corner over to us, and she says, "Are you Peggy?" And I said, "Yes." And she goes, "Do you remember me? I'm one of the 3 sisters." And I said, "Oh my goodness." I said, because it had been literally years. And I said, "What are you doing here?" Hoping she wasn't going to say, I'm in I'm back in foster care or this. She goes, "I'm a foster mom now." And I said, "Oh, you're kidding." And so she had taken her niece in. So she was there waiting for her niece, and she came over and took that 8-year-old's hands, her face in her hands, and lifted her head up. And she said, "I want you to know you are going to be okay." She says, "I've lived in this home. You're going to be okay. Everything's going to work out for you." And she gave her something I couldn't have given her. I could have said, "Hey, my house is safe. You're going to be okay here." But for this other woman to come over. And now this other woman is part of our kinship program. And so we've been able to support her and help her. And I just love that full circle of things. And the other thing with this other young girl is she went back home. We had her for 1.5 years. She went back home. And then Christmas Eve of this last year, she came back into care again and came back into our home, which I don't know how to describe that feeling of, for her, the trauma that she experienced, but to make it feel like she could come back home again is just beyond really anything. It's just a passion that's been placed in my husband and I, and just really grateful that we can have that kind of impact.
Wow. That's enough to bring you to tears, really. I mean, that's to hear the full circle and how you guys, not only, it's not just a business for you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, this is your life. This is what you do. And then your nonprofit just allows you to serve more people. I mean,
Yes.
You're doing it in your own home, and you're doing it in the community, helping others in the same condition, parents, supporting the parents, the foster kids, supporting parents, preventatively, right? So that doesn't happen. That's pretty amazing. And I think one of the things maybe that gets overlooked is just really how traumatic, I think we can think about it real quickly, but how traumatic of an experience it is for a child to be removed, even from a home that is not healthy, and then to be placed somewhere else. What that must make them feel like. And so to have, you and Tom and families that are willing to step in like that and provide a high level of care and love and fill that gap for those kids, to let them know that they are loved. I mean, that's amazing. And so I'm grateful. I'm grateful for you guys, your work at home and your work in our community. Now, if somebody had questions, I have a lot of questions. I'm going to kind of try to streamline this. If somebody has questions, they hear this and they're like, "You know what? I've been thinking about becoming a foster parent or trying to go through the process." Would it be something that you'd be okay with people reaching out to you or your staff to ask questions about?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually just got the Resource Family Approval contract early this month from the county. So now we do all the training for new foster parents.
So they would actually contact you, and you're the ones that would help them.
Yeah, we would refer them to the Resource Family Approval team at the county because they would get signed into an orientation there, but then we would take care of all their training.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
So if somebody's thinking about this, we'll post the number. So if you guys, if anybody has questions about how to become a resource family, then we'll put that information on our website. So you can contact Peggy or her team.
Mhm.
And so you guys are, another question, a little unrelated, but you're a nonprofit organization, which to me indicates you're supported via donation or other, public funding, but I'm sure donation.
Mhm.
If somebody was interested in becoming a donor and supporting the work that you guys do and supporting the kids and the families that you guys serve, is it something pretty easily they can just go on your website
Yes.
and become donors? Okay.
Yeah. We have a donate button on our website.
Okay. Perfect. Easy enough. And then volunteers, you guys have need for volunteers in a variety of different
We do.
areas?
Yeah, we have a lot of different areas. There's sorting clothes always,
Okay.
and just keeping the resource center organized. There's helping at events like our parent night outs or our community events that we have throughout the year.
Okay.
So we're always looking for that kind of help. We have some retired teachers who do tutoring for us for some kids who are behind in school. A lot of kids who are in foster care can actually miss a whole year of school. So we have some teachers that have stepped up to help these kids. And so there are a number of opportunities.
And you guys take clothing and furniture donations?
Clothing, furniture, shoes, kitchen items, bedding.
In good condition.
Yes, in very
Good
good and
condition.
clean condition.
And again, that's
Yeah.
pretty easy to find on your website if somebody had some extra stuff, okay, to donate. Great. And you guys will pick items up? Do you pick?
We can pick
Okay.
items up, yes.
Okay, great.
I've kind of mentioned kinship care in there, and that's really any family taking care of family,
Okay.
a family member under 18. And the important thing about that is if you are that family, you don't have to have an open child welfare case to get our services. So it can be any family in the community that is taking care of a grandchild or a niece and nephew, younger brother or sister. Those are all families that we want to serve.
That's great information. I'm glad you defined that. And I think one of my last questions, do you guys have any events coming up to note? Or do you have a specific date for an annual event that you do?
We do not this year.
Okay.
No.
I understand the challenges of the events. That's probably one of my least favorite things to do, but we'll keep everybody posted if there is an event.
Mhm.
We'll make sure we get it posted and send it out as well. But yeah, great. I'm so glad you were able to come in. Personally, everybody here on our staff is just grateful for everything you guys do in the community. Obviously, we're kind of serving and supporting the parent side of those
Right.
that may be struggling with different substance use issues or justice involved individuals and things like that, trying to help get them to a place of healing and restoration, so that if they are impacted and their kids are in fact in your care, that they would be able to get to that point where there is that restoration. It's pretty near and dear to us because we're serving very similarly those families.
Yeah.
But thank you again for coming in. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thanks.